All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How are you all? Hopefully, my mic sounds nice. Check one. Caleb's here. Caleb slid in. Oh, sorry about Friday, guys. I don't know what happened. Victory Gens on Substack. What's up, Substack people? Come on in, Substack people. Come on in. I got the chats up on Substack if you want to chat on Substack. I've got the chats up on Odyssey if you want to chat on Odyssey. We're here. Thanks to everybody who's watching on alternative platforms. Yeah, Friday, I don't know. We've had a lot of rain. Like a lot. Kind of messed a lot of things up. I had a show this weekend and the show got canceled, which I don't really understand, but whatever. As I said, people in the South are funny about weather. And sometimes it's not that funny. But sometimes it's just kind of annoying. But all good. Yeah, and then I don't know if the internet being out was weather related or something else was going on. I'm not really sure. Because I'm not in control of the internet where I live. I don't control it. I just use it. But it's back on. So here we are. What's up, everybody? Oh, hey, I got a new song out. You guys want to hear it? Putting links in the chats and whatnot. Here you go. Substack, here you go. Odyssey. a new song. Go listen if you dare. Yeah, there's been a lot of solar activity too. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I don't know what. I have no clue because there's just so many things that could be happening. Could be the weather. Could be human error, which is always like a big one to me. When in doubt, uh, there's high probability that human error is involved in a lot of things, and that's okay because to err is human. That's what we do. We err. So what's happening? We found out that I don't know. I wasn't really planning on starting with this, but here we go. Starting with this. What we missed on Friday and over the weekend to talk about was there were a bunch of emails released around the Epstein situation. And in one of those emails, somebody said something about Donald Trump doing something with Bill Clinton involving his mouth, if you know what I mean. And whoa. And everybody was like, what? Whoa. Hold on. Which is a wild thing to think about. And you really want to not spend too much time thinking about it. But it's crazy. It's crazy bit of news, but a kind of par for the course if you understand that, all these people are controlled. All of them have been blackmailed. There's a friend of mine on Facebook was like, I don't know why they don't release the Epstein files. I'm sure, they've destroyed all the ones with Trump on it. And I was like, oh, you are, I was like, nice one. Not at all. Right. Because in her mind, the evil Republicans have erased all the tapes, which is fine. That's a fine thing to think. I'm sure, they thought about it. I'm sure that they were like, is there a way we can erase these tapes? Yeah, I think it's an assumption, but I'm going to assume it is because they tried to say, oh, it's not Bubba Clinton. I was like, what other Bubba could it be? It can't be any other Bubba. I mean, like, maybe it's not Bubba, but I think that's a misdirect. Yeah. Yep, that's right, Zalipa. Yeah, so a friend of mine was like, oh, they've erased all the tapes. And I was like, don't you know how they control him? Like, if they erased all the tapes, then there wouldn't be any blackmail. Don't you understand that this is how it works? I didn't even bother. I don't even bother talking to people on social media about things like this because it's just, it involves too much time. And, there's too much of a gap between like what people are, people's, very shallow thoughts around something and like the actual reality of it. And like, I don't want to sound like a jerk and I don't want to get in arguments and I just leave it alone. I just go, I smile and wave. But there's a wild story and there's actually a picture to back it up. If you're thinking that it wasn't Bubba Clinton, there is a picture of Donald Trump with his hand on Bill Clinton's woohoo. And he's like patting it. It's a video. It's not just a picture. It's a video of him like patting. So I guess you could think it's another Bubba, but I don't know. I don't know if it is. I'm going to say it's Bubba. Wesley. Good old wholesome gayness. Just boys being boys. Okay, well let's get this out of the way because I want to move on to other things. This is just like, to me, it's freaking weird and comedic, but and kind of just really out there. It's not really a thing I want to spend too much time on. It's unfortunate though, but it also okay.
Hello, everyone. I respect you, so I want to be straightforward with you. The president gave the former president a blowjob. And when I read that at first, I was like, well, that, I mean, maybe they didn't really mean that. Here's a photo of the president holding the former president's heart on. That's what he meant when he said he used to support the Clinton.
It's not just a photo, it's a whole video, and he's doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, what? It's kind of like, what is going on here? And look at his stupid face. Look at his face. He's like, are we going to take this to the bathroom? Sorry.
You guys elected a clown, man. Oh.
Okay, this is it. I'm not going to play anymore. This doesn't really. I don't need to. But if you also know how all these secret societies run, if you know how the what's the one in Yale called? My mind is blank. Just blanking out. But you know, there's these secret societies. All these powerful people are in them, and the general story around the secret societies is that they are made to do stuff that's incriminating, and it is used later to control them. That's how it works, right? That's how it all works. So in my mind, I'm like, of course he did. Of course he did. Skull and Bones. Thank you, Denver. Thank you. In my mind, it's just not a stretch. It's like, sure. Even though it is a bizarre story. It is a bizarre thing to think about. It's like, okay. All right, moving on. Let's move on. The stuff with Venezuela seems to be escalating as it has been. And there's, seems to be more rumors of war. Trump officials hold meetings on Venezuela as military tensions rise. Senior Trump administration officials have held 3 meetings at the White House this week to discuss options. This is from like 3 days ago. To discuss options for possible military operations in Venezuela, officials said on Friday. Amid a growing U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, Trump has deployed F-35 aircraft, warships, and a nuclear submarine to the region as part of the military buildup following 2 months of deadly strikes against boats off Venezuela. And we have zero confirmation that those are carrying drugs. Most of them have been confirmed fishing vessels. So this has been just basically murder in the cause of escalating a situation that doesn't need to be escalated. Everything, the tensions are all on our side, right? Venezuela isn't like creating any tensions. They're like, hey, maybe don't do this. Yeah, Exactly, Wesley. Undeclared acts of war. That's exactly what they are. And this is kind of a, yeah, I mean, it's an escalation on our side in order to push something to happen. Kind of like what happened with Ukraine. It wasn't just like one day Putin decided to, you know what I think we got to do. That's how Putin talks. We got to go into Ukraine. No, there was a whole series of events that led up to him going, oh, Jesus, okay, God. You know, this is what it was. Earlier this week, the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier strike group moved into the Latin American region, bringing with it more than 75 military aircraft and 5,000 troops. Well, if AI takes your jobs, I guess you can always get a job with the military. They're still hiring. Can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind on Venezuela. He told reporters on Air Force One, this is Trump. Trump suggested on Friday that a decision could come soon on whether or not to take military action against Venezuela. Yeah. So far, U.S. military forces in the region have conducted operations against suspected drug vessels. Reuters' visual investigation found the U.S. military is upgrading a long-abandoned former Cold War naval base in the Caribbean, suggesting preparations for sustained operations that could support possible actions inside Venezuela. Venezuela is deploying weapons, including decades-old Russian-made equipment, and is planning to mount a guerrilla-style resistance to sow chaos in the event of a U.S. air or ground attack. They've also supplied civilians with weapons. More on this. Speaking on Saturday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro warned that the rapid U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean risks igniting a regional disaster, asking Americans directly, do they want another Gaza in South America? Excuse me, sorry about that. He urged the U.S. public to play a heroic, I don't know why I couldn't say that, heroic role in stopping a tragedy for our entire American continent. And said Venezuela will know how to secure their stability and their full sovereign right to exist. Humanity is already suffering enough from the pain caused by the genocide in Gaza. Oh, you had to bring that up, did you? Oh, yeah, I saw that, Zalipa. Yeah. The naval commander resigned. Yeah, I mean, actually, there are people that have a conscience and that are not, don't find this kind of stuff acceptable. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Sure. Yeah, I think I've seen that one. His remarks came as Washington announced Operation Southern Spear, a new Trump military campaign framed as counter-narcotics, but accompanied by surging U.S. assets and escalating tensions. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the mission will use advanced surveillance vessels and robotic units to secure our homeland. Secure our homeland? Sounds very German. From drugs that are killing our people. And a little more on this. Trump said yesterday that he may be having discussions with Maduro, telling reporters. 2 days earlier, Trump said he had sort of made up my mind on Venezuela, but offered no details. Pressed on Monday, he responded No update on Venezuela, but acknowledged that Washington's new terrorism designation of the Venezuelan-linked Cartel de los Soles allows us to target assets or infrastructure inside Venezuela, while emphasizing we haven't said we're going to do that. He has so far declined to authorize a military attack on Venezuela. However, the fact that they're even talking about it. It's funny because, Joseph sent me a link for the movie Wag the Dog, which is it's what this sounds like. They're just completely creating the situation that didn't exist before. Completely making up the pretense. For going in. Let's see, where is this? And the pretense, it is it is tiresome. Yeah, Caleb, I agree. I agree. I saw a good meme. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can show it to you though. Let's see if I can. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Bulla checking in from Chirac. Let's see. Can I do it? Can I do this? Let's see. See if I can do it really quickly. How quickly can I do this without making everything grind to a halt? That's my question. Here we go. This is a meme I just saw. Can you guys see this? Where is it? I don't know if it needs the make this go viral thing seems to lessen the impact of it. I think just resign is good. Personally, that's just my personal take. Speaking of resigning, Trump is about faced and said that he is urging. I'm sorry, Odyssey people, if I'm completely ignoring you, but I see you on Odyssey. Some people watching on Odyssey. Thank you. Trump is urging now for the release of the Epstein files after resisting, but I think there's a strategy involved in this. Like, he's crazy, but maybe he's not that crazy. Coffee good. Trump urges Republicans to vote for release of Epstein files and surprise U-turn. Top Democrat has accused Donald Trump of panicking after the U.S. president told his fellow Republicans in Congress to vote for the release of the files related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In a sudden reversal of his earlier opinion or position, Robert Garcia, the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, which released a tranche of new Epstein documents last week, said that Trump has tried everything to kill our investigation. Now, Trump is panicking and has realized he's about to lose this Epstein vote to force the Department of Justice to release the files. let's be clear, Trump has the power to release all the files today. But here might be right, extra. Yeah, you're right, Caleb. They don't even really have to try that hard. They wouldn't even have to try that hard to beat him, and yet they can't. I think try is the operative word. They don't really try to beat him. Let's look at this, though. This is an interesting twist to this story about him wanting to release the files. Thomas Massey says Trump's Epstein investigation might be a big smokescreen. So Trump has recently said he's investigating the connection to Democrats and the Epstein files. So listen, here's the important twist to this. Massey dismissed the Justice Department's investigation into the late Epstein's ties to notable Democrats as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files. If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them to, at the last-ditch effort, prevent the release of the Epstein files. Trump directed Attorney General Pam Bondi and the FBI to look into Epstein's relationships with former President Bill Clinton and other Democrats, writing on social media, "This is another Russia scam," with all arrows pointing to Democrats. Bondi on Friday promised to pursue the investigation with urgency and integrity to deliver answers to the American people, after assigning Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton to lead the probe. The announcement came just days after the House Oversight Committee released tens of thousands of emails handed over to Epstein by the Epstein estate. The emails documenting Epstein's vast network of friends and associates spanning over a decade include several direct references to Trump, Clinton, and other prominent individuals in media, politics, and Hollywood. So it could be that so he ordered these investigations, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and release the files," but they might not be able to release the files if they're involved, right? If they're things that are involved in ongoing current investigations. So that might be the angle that he's trying to take in this. Maybe. That might be his immunity from having this come out against him. Sound is choppy. I'm sorry. Has it been choppy, guys? Why didn't you tell me the sound was choppy? Is it choppy for anybody else? Can we confirm the choppy sounds before I do something about it? Y'all? The sound is choppy? Okay. See above? Oh, I see. I see. Hold on one second. I don't know if this will fix it, but let me try. Okay. Is it any better now? If it's not better, let me know. I'll fix it. I'll try and do something else. Okay, cool. Great. Yeah. Oh, reflect the sun on Odyssey says yes, choppy here. Okay, so it seems like it's fixed. Everybody like up the video, share the video, like the video, watch the video, etc. Stuff like that. So yeah, it is an interesting twist that he's saying release there's got to be an angle to it. I'm sure of it. Oh, where are we going next? Let's do the Colombia story now. This is an interesting story because it's not anywhere on the mainstream news. This is from like 3 days ago, and I didn't see this story like in the Guardian, BBC. Like I would have thought maybe the Guardian might have picked this up. Oh, it's bad again? What the heck? Sorry, hold on. Let's try this. Try. Is it back? Is it better? Yeah, it just might be the rain. It might be like my internet signal is not that great. Let me know if it's better. Sorry guys for the issues. I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't see this anywhere. Colombia declares its entire Amazon region off limits to mining and oil extraction. This is from 3 days ago. Colombia declared the entirety of its Amazon biome as a renewable natural resource reserve zone. It's not better? Oh, geez, man. Can you hear me at all? Hold on one second. Let me try. Is this any better? Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry about that. Well, it might not be anything I can do about today just because it's raining like pretty hard right now. And I think it's messing with the I think it's messing with the internet. So I'm sorry. We'll do our best here. Colombia declared its entire Amazon biome as a renewable natural resource reserve zone, formally prohibiting new large-scale mining and hydrocarbon exploitation activities. This decision, framed within a global context of climate crisis, places the South American country as the first in the world to place its entire national Amazon region under this type of protection. What's up with this Petro guy being like pretty pretty progressive all of a sudden? Or maybe he's already always been progressive. I don't know. Announcement was made by Colombia's Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, Irene Valdez, during the COP30. Colombia has decided to take the first step. We have been the first country in the Amazon basin to declare the entirety of the portion of the Amazon biome as a renewable natural reserve zone. All right, so good for them. Good on Colombia. How about Substack? You guys hear me okay? Desert Mantis. What's up, Desert Mantis? Haven't seen you in the chats before. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. Caleb says Viva Colombia. Indeed. Meanwhile, High Street in the UK is getting flooded out. It's weird. I saw this before, but Denver sent me the Off Guardian saying, like, oh, they're just neglecting the flood infrastructure and then blaming it on climate change. I was like, nice one, Guardian. Off Guardian. Nice, like, wanky take there. Just like, okay. So everywhere that is flooding all over the world is because of lack of, because they've been neglecting their infrastructure. All right. Doesn't hold water. I think I saw that Italy was flooding again. I don't know how many times. Some section of Italy hasn't been under like insane flooding this year. It seems like the entire year. Some portion of Italy has been underwater. How much rain have we gotten? Geez, I don't know. A lot. It's been a mess. Guys, I just barely escaped with my life a traffic accident the other day. It was wild. I was on my way. I was going up the freeway, and we're like, it's raining, but everybody's cruising along, 50, 60, some people 70. And I'm rolling along. I'm kind of trying to keep it kind of chill. And this semi truck right in front of me goes whoop, like right in front of me, takes out another car on this side of me, and they're both like spinning on the freeway, and I'm like right behind both of them, like, ah. I just and also the other lucky thing was, as soon as that happened, I kind of tried to like move over to the side of the freeway, and there was, I didn't even look behind me on this side. Luckily there wasn't somebody like barreling up on that lane to, take me out. Yeah, it was wild, guys. I was like, oh no, not today. And I got over to the side, and they, ended up kind of eventually everybody ended up on the wall. And I, people just, people jumped out immediately to see if everybody was okay and see if the passengers of the cars were okay. I don't know what happened, but like the truck just, probably hit a pocket of water or something, because it just, again, people in the South they freak out. Not only do they freak out, but they don't understand. Well, this is not true though, because they don't really understand how to drive in certain conditions as well as other people do. But I've been in other places where people just can't drive. Like, I was once in yeah, exactly, Zaliba. That's exactly what it was. I was like, holy shnikes. I almost was a part of that whole mess right there. Had I been going just a little bit faster, it would have been bad, because I would have been right between that truck and that other car. They would have got me. Luckily I was kind of easing off the gas. I've been in Nebraska during like a freak blizzard, and man, everybody was on the side of the road in like 5 minutes. Like trucks, cars, everybody was just like, like, oh no. I was like, what are you guys doing? It's snowing. Like, you just slow down, right? All you got to do is just slow down, not keep going the same speed. It's kind of like, that's what you do, right? This is driving 101. If there's weather, you slow down. You don't keep going the same speed. But like, yeah, people in Missouri can't drive shit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's like, these things should be the things that they teach. Kind of these really basic like life skill kind of things about like, what? If you're driving along and all of a sudden it's raining really hard or snowing or whatever, just don't drive 50 or 60. Just slow down to like 20 or 30. You'll probably be okay. But like, that is the main lesson. That's really one of the only things you need to know about driving. one of the very few things you need to know. But driving is also one of those things that I'm always like I'm always confused about how there's bad drivers on the road, because if you do something every day or quite often, shouldn't you get better? I'm always like, shouldn't you get better at something that you do on a regular basis, especially like driving? Like, shouldn't you your skills improve? Apparently, for some people, no. They just are shitty drivers their entire lives. They just get in the car and they're like, I don't know. Okay. Spatial awareness. Anybody? You're right, Poppy. Many people get complacent, but I do wonder about people sometimes. I'm like, you're also talking about like your life and your safety and the safety of the people around you. Like, you should probably get better at this thing you're doing. But cars and people is a weird mix. I feel like it's a place where people's inner demons come out when they get behind a car. Their inner demons totally come out. Their like inner compass or whatever is going on inside of them completely leaks out all over the place and how they drive. And that is also a thing. I don't know. That's true. That's true, Denver. Anyways. Trying to mix up the news here with the bad news with the with some semi decent. This is kind of a cool Salt Laker sent this to me in the Telegram, but I had already reposted this on my Instagram because it's pretty cool. An old abandoned stadium in Taiwan has been transformed into a community garden. This is pretty great. Like, this is a great kind of like reclaiming of hold on, I'm trying to add it to the stage. Let's get sound on this. Oh.
Transformed into a community garden for local people, helping to keep the city green, and it is just awesome. This stadium was a baseball stadium in the 80s, and then it was a football stadium more recently, but it closed down in 2008. But instead of destroying it and demolishing it, they turned it into something the locals could use, a community garden. Families and individuals can come here and grow their own produce, essentially. It's like a tiny garden in an old stadium. There's 80 to 100 small plots, roughly 1 to 3 meters squared, each managed by local residents, mostly planter-based cultivation to avoid loading the structure. They've also got trellised green corridors. They have programs for people to learn about seasonal planting, workshops, and even small citizen farmer plots. This initiative was all part of Taipei's push for urban micro-farming to create a garden city, using initiatives like this to get people interested in their environments. And it works. This place is now busier than it's ever been. I'd love to see this in the city that I live. There's so many abandoned buildings that have just been left to rot. Why not turn it into something awesome? Would you like to see something like this where you live? Let me know. This abandoned football stadium.
Yeah, that's cool. I dig it. Reclaiming. Like when we abandon buildings in LA, like we just leave them there, we fence them off. Abandoned buildings are weird, and especially in LA. Like, there's real estate here is so supposedly in high demand, and it's so expensive. But I see so many businesses and establishments that are closed, that just remain closed for literally decades. The building will just sit there. There's a huge Sears in East LA, just east of downtown, Boyle Heights. That has been closed for a really long, I don't know how many, probably 20 years at least or more. And it's just a big rotting hulk of a building. I'm like, you guys, nobody. Okay. but it could be used for something like this, right? That building, but maybe not gardening, but something community, something to serve the community with, right? But what else? We're in dire straits financially. Here's another. This is from Chris Martinson. Somebody talking about Warren Buffett's stacking of cash, which implies that something bad is coming.
Buffett's the only one that's out there right now that's raising capital. Okay. So he's raising capital, and this is an appropriate time to share this chart. So let me pull this up. So Charlie Bolello quotes what Warren Buffett said here. Having loads of liquidity lets us sleep well. During episodes of financial chaos that occasionally erupt in our economy, we will be equipped both financially and emotionally to play offense while others scramble for survival. Okay, that's so the legend in the investment world right now. Look at the cash pile that he's accumulated and how fast it's accelerated since 2022. Now, if you take that from a backdrop,
and real quick, don't lose your thought, but I just want to point out for people that there's two ways Buffett's been raising cash. One is, if dividends come in, he's just stockpiling them. But the second is they've actually been selling stocks, equities.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that last week. It'd take me a minute to find that chart, but he's been a net seller of equities for what, 24 months now, correct?
Yeah.
Going back to about 2022 when he started raising that cash pile. So my concern is everybody recognizes we have issues, but there's such a fear in the industry from the professional management area because retail is going all in. If you take that path less traveled right now with a lot of these firms, when it's different when you have an advisor that's working with you, okay? If you've got an advisor that's being pitched an investment from the mutual fund company and he has to turn around and meet retail and he can't educate retail on he can't educate retail because he doesn't really understand what's going on about the danger of this market. And that client says, well, so-and-so down the street tells me that they can do more. If I'd have gone with so-and-so, I'd done a little bit better. All it is performance chasing.
All right.
There's so much more to unpack here.
Okay.
Head on.
Okay. Anyways. Bullets and sunscreen. Cash, right? It sounds so much nicer that way. There's a more humanitarian crisis building in Gaza. Gaza is drowning in rain. They still have no shelter besides flimsy tents, which are flooding. It's the winter. They are freezing. Why isn't aid flowing in? Why are Gazans still being tortured? Well, I mean, I don't know. Why? Why? Cash is king. Yeah. Why are Gazans being tortured? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I think it's par for the course, but it is an ongoing situation. Alia, I think that's how you're saying it. I've realized something important. Temporary shelters aren't solving anything. Palestinians don't need short-term fixes. They need real homes, real nutrition, and lasting stability. We have to rethink our approach and come together to push for something that actually makes a difference. This is heartbreaking, and this is what it looks like. Some places where people are living there. Yeah, right, Chuck. Exactly. Where's this other? Warehouses are filled with vital aid for Gaza, and they've been blocked by Israel despite the ceasefire mandating the passage of humanitarian aid. The UNRWA has criticized Israel as Palestinians face heavy rain and cold weather amid the rubble.
This is just one of a number of warehouses in Jordan packed full of aid, including tents, warm weather equipment, clothes, shoes, blankets, mattresses, as well as medical supplies and food. Now, according to the Jordanians, there are something like 6,000 trucks worth of aid being held in Jordan right now, which the Israelis are refusing to allow into Gaza. At the moment, so far, according to the Jordanians, a negligible number has been allowed into Gaza since March. All this aid, if you allowed even 200 trucks worth over a day, and the UN would like that be increased to 500 or 600, but even if you allowed 200 trucks a day, this would all be sufficient for the people of Gaza for the next month. And yet it's all being held here at various warehouses around Jordan. There is warehouse upon warehouse like this. This is
Okay. That is some. No, they don't, Scott. You're right. They don't. They're like, what? What's Gaza? Oh, it's like a dog whistle to them. No, I don't hear anything on our mainstream news channels about anything about Palestine or nope. It's just mum's the word. Mum's the word. Last thing I'm going to cover today. Oh, one more thing. From Lee Camp, kind of amazing that Israel has ethnically cleansed over half of Gaza, and no one in our media mentions that Israel has ethnically cleansed over half of Gaza. On the same note we were just talking about. There's no acknowledgement of this going on whatsoever. It's almost like it's not happening. If you don't say anything about it, I guess it's not happening. Where am I? What's the last thing I want? Oh, here's Dre from Dre's dossier talking about AI, building out all these AI centers at the expense of jobs, at the expense of land, at the expense of water, at the expense of pretty much everything. At the expense of everything but some kind of future bottom line for the companies. Yep, that's true, Salt Lickers. Yep. So let's.
Oracle is building the world's largest AI cluster for OpenAI.
Is that Sam Altman?
Texas, delivering GPUs in less than 1 year. The cluster will contain more than 450,000 NVIDIA GB200s when fully provisioned. Power is provided by a combination of grid power and on-site natural gas turbines.
Grid
Capacity is provided in 8 separate buildings spanning 1,000 acres, all interconnected together to support a single workload. This site deploys the latest technology across AI accelerators, liquid cooling, and networking. More than 3,500 people work on-site each day to deliver capacity at an unprecedented rate. Demand for AI continues to exceed supply, and Oracle is committed to delivering the largest and most advanced AI clusters to support our customers all over the world.
Well, that's a long way from writing code in my bedroom in college.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop him right there. I guess my first question is, who is paying for this? How much money is OpenAI putting into this versus Oracle versus the taxpayer dollar? Well, I looked it up and the numbers are actually jarring. The study had found that in some states, data center tax breaks are actually resulting in more lost revenue than the tax revenue generated, in Texas specifically, so that data center. This OpenAI data center subsidies increased from $157 million in 2023 to $1 billion in 2025. So taxpayers are basically foregoing billions of dollars in property taxes over the course of 20 years, 85% discount for these guys. And they're supporting the water infrastructure. They're supporting the electrical grid expansion. I mean, it's ridiculous.
What happened? I have no idea. Okay.
So creepy.
But now we have to build the power transmission plants. There's a natural gas pipeline that goes
Oh,
through
here's
the
the
gas
pitch.
turbines.
All the
That fires
jobs
up the
it's
gas turbines and then
creating.
generate electricity. That electricity then has to be moved to the data center. So it's power generation. It's gas pipelines, power generation, power transmission, data centers, networks. And those data centers are filled with lots and lots and lots of complex software and a lot of very smart, hardworking engineers.
Yeah, you see, so this is the political pitch. Don't worry, investors. We are creating so many jobs with this. This is costing billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies, but this is going to create so many jobs for these hardworking engineers. And this pipeline he's talking about, guess how many jobs that this is actually creating. This study that I read, it actually gave an estimation. They are only getting 57 jobs in return for this data center. There will be 57 people who are going to be employed full time. Isn't that insane? For less than $60,000 a year, mind you, these hardworking engineers. Meanwhile, OpenAI is going to lease the computing capacity and make money from it. Oracle is going to be leasing the facility for at least 15 years. And private equity firms are going to earn at least $15 billion on their investment, all subsidized by Albaline taxpayers who lose tax revenue and bear infrastructure costs. Oh my God, if I were you, I'd be mad. I would be so mad. This is not a party issue. This is bipartisan. If you live in Abilene, Texas, and you're a taxpayer, if you have a property tax that you're paying, just remember this: 57 jobs. I can't.
That's wild. And this is happening all over the country, everywhere. Yeah, and this might be one of those instances where maybe a market crash might be a good thing. It might bring a halt to all this stuff, if only for a moment. I'm not wishing a market crash. It's bad times, and we know that every economic downturn is implicated in, a lot of suffering and death along with that, right? People die when the economy goes south. So I'm not wishing that on anybody, and I will say that in jest, but so I don't know how we stop this. Trump jobs bill means something totally yes. Oh, that one's got some legs. At least a third leg. I'm sorry. It's going to go on and on. There's going to be no end to that one. Reflect the Sun. Oh, Desert Mantis says this is all a scam. AI, that is. Oh yeah. It is a scam. I mean, I guess, I know, and I've seen people say, hey, this is good for my productivity, or, I can, this helps my workflow or whatever. And I guess, sure. There might be some upsides on a personal level with AI, but the overall consequences of it are just insanely bad. Like insane, all of it. The fact that it's mainly being used for surveillance and for targeting of victims in war, that it's so bad for the environment, it's the negatives outweigh the positives by like 3,000 to 1. So when I see people out there like going, come on, man, you got to get you some AI because, man, it's really helping my workflow and things are just, it's cool, bro. You're like, come on, get on the AI bandwagon is allowing or is, enabling some very, 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 very bad stuff to happen in the world. Because of the externalities of it, and because of the actual implication of the things it will be used for are freaking negative. So it's just unless you're going to tell me how you can use AI to stop AI being used for all this horrible stuff and to bring down the power structure and make, the world a better place, unless you're telling me how AI can directly do that, I don't really care. I just don't care. I don't care. Good for you. It helped your day get a little smoother. Wowzers. It's a little bit, it seems very, very, blinders on, narrow vision. I just don't see it. I just don't see where it's like, oh yeah, it's totally cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. There's ways to support the show in all the description boxes of whatever channel you're watching on, or you can support me on Substack and all that kind of good stuff. Lots of links in the description box of Odyssey and YouTube and YouTube. And thanks everyone. I will see you tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. Until next time, everyone, peace and beware the bear.